Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to talk about how the way things used to be. And this one is going to be talking about how starting a business, the one thing that made the United States great, and you hear me talk about it all the time, and that is strong individuals coming together for a common goal. And a lot of times that common goal was business. They would start businesses and develop this business into, we'll tell them what. You'll see all these big businesses are part of a small business, or the big businesses now is what developed from the small businesses from the past. I mean, I'm not even talking about, gun manufacturers, what do you call it, auto manufacturers. It doesn't make any difference. They all started small, and what's happened is, and I've talked about this before, that's why I hate big business. Big business and big government work hand in hand. And what's happened in the 50s, in the 60s, you could start any kind of business you want. You let your imagination go, and you can start any kind of business you want, manufacturing anything you want to manufacture or produce or make, or a service you want to do. You can do anything you want to do. And what ends up happening, the big businesses, after they get going big, they make it difficult for other people to start, to get the competition. They want to keep the competition out. And what they do is big business backs up regulations. They can't make laws to keep the competition out. So what they do is they create regulations to keep the competition out. Let's see. How we're going to talk about that, or an example of it is a small example where it'd be easy for you to understand would be like a plumber. If you want to start your own plumbing business, you can't. There's all kinds of regulations you've got to get through before you can start your plumbing business. Now, where do you think these regulations came from? They came from established plumbers, and they wanted codes. We need to have a code, and a code is a regulation. So we need codes. We have to make sure everybody's got the same kind of plumbing, the same kind of setup, and all this type of stuff. So before you can become a plumber, you have to pass this test. And this test is something that the established plumbers have already, they know it already, so they're making a test on stuff that they already know about, and they're going to make it harder, so, and more detail, to keep more and more people from getting their plumbing license. Oh, you have to be licensed. Yes, you have to have a government permit. That's the government taking control over as much as they can. That's why you see me, I'm completely against permits, certifications, and all this kind of stuff. I know how and why they're there, and little of it has anything to do, even though they talk about, well, for the safety of the community and all this, look, bullshit, because we were doing this before they had all this crap going on. So what it is that's their way to justify you staying out of their business. They got a monopoly in their plumbing business, and they don't want you messing with it. So that's why they try to put everything under their control. And so that knocks out people from trying to get into the business in the way of plumbing. And like I say, they put the codes up and stuff like that. So you have to learn all the codes, you got to learn all this stuff. Now, the funny thing is, even if it's wrong, even if there's better ways, technology has changed. There's better materials, there's better ways of doing things, but you can't do those. No, you can't. You have to do it according to code. And that's basically why the medical system is all screwed up. They're basically the same damn thing, the same thing. You have to learn what we tell you you have to learn. Even though there's better ways, there's other things you can do. No. To get your license, this is what you got to do. So anybody with a license, what they've done is they've sold their soul for the money. The license guarantees you the money. So that's why they educate themselves to get the license. So now they've got the money, and after they get the license, they don't want anybody else to get a license. Medical is the same way. Plumbing is the same way. Anything with licenses. It's funny because even real estate, it's funny because down here you don't need a real estate license. Anybody can sell real estate. You know, what do you need a license for? You know, I mean, and why? The people get into the business and they want to keep the competition out. So then they make people get a license. So, and that's why you see in the United States, we've got to the point where I don't care what kind of work you want to do, you have to get some kind of permit from somebody to do it. You know, if you want to be a security guard, not even a policeman, a security guard, you have to get some kind of something, some kind of permit of some way or another. And it's funny because the best cops I remember back in the 60s, the best cops are people just getting out of high school, and they want to learn, they want to help the community, they want to do good things and all this kind of stuff. And they were good cops, and they get them out there on the road. They work with a policeman that's already knows what he's doing, and that's how you learn to be a cop. You learn all kinds of really cool stuff. Now, I believe a lot of places, they want you to have 1 or 2 years of college. That's why I'm not a college kind of guy. I've learned college teaches you to do what you're told. They don't teach you to get smart. Like I say, I went to a couple of years of college when I was 40-some years old. And I told them when I was there, hell, I just want to get smart. I don't give a shit about this other damn stuff. And then when they start telling me stuff, I say, hey, it's wrong. And they say, well, no, you have to learn this. I say, I'm not going to learn something wrong. I came here to get smart. I want to learn the right thing. And that's when I learned that college doesn't have anything to do with what's right. They're trying to teach you to be disciplined enough to do as you're told, not what's right. Don't think. You know, so, and I say the police were, and like I say, I told you I ran around with the cops. Same thing. I thought about being a cop. And so it's more like an apprenticeship. And that's what a lot of jobs where you get by being an apprenticeship. You start working for them, you either get a little bit of pay, or sometimes, and you hear me promote it, I do it for no pay. I did it when I was in the oil business. I went it for no pay for 6 months. And like I say, I had plenty of work. I learned a lot of stuff in 6 months. And 2 or 3 years later, I had 100 oil wells. Hey, I didn't need no permit from no government for nothing. And that's what I'm saying. Now, everything you need to have some kind of okay from somebody to do it. Like I say, I've had restaurants. And I used to tell people, when you start a business, you just start a business, and then, you know, no big deal. You start your business, get going, and then there's going to be permits you're going to need, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And don't worry about it. Once you start your business, the people that issue these permits will come in, and they will tell you, well, you need a permit. Okay, it's $20. You give them $20, and then you got your permit. Okay, nowadays, if you don't have the permits when you start your business, they shut you down. See, so that's what it is. They're trying to keep all the small business people out. When I was young too, every young person wanted to own their own business. That was the motivation to learn and to do things and create. They wanted to make their own business. I can do a better job at that. You know, I mean, a pair of shoes. I can make better shoes than that. More stylish, more of that. And you could do it. I mean, it doesn't make any difference. Anything. You can do anything you want. That's the part that made the United States great. We could do anything we want. We had no regulations. We had no permits. We had none of that kind of crap. We didn't have the government trying to shut us down and make our lives miserable. We didn't have that problem. So that's why the United States has been known to develop such great products. We used our mind. We thought of stuff. We created. And that's why we were motivated by doing stuff like that. So Buenos dias. Buenos dias. See? And so we didn't need permit from the government. We didn't need their overseeing us. And I say, so I had restaurants. And like I say, so I had restaurants, and we had the health department and stuff like that. And all that was so we don't make anybody sick. And we'd have to pay the permit from the health department, and you pay them whatever, $20 a year for a permit. No big deal. And then it got to the point where, well, we're not going to issue the permit unless you did this. Okay, have I poisoned anybody? Anybody got sick or anything? No. But you still need to do this, or we're not going to give you the permit. See, so once you recognize their authority with that permit, now you're screwed. And it got to, I'll tell you, it got so ridiculous. I'm not even going to tell you about how stupid the regulations are. And these regulations are made for big companies like McDonald's. And it was funny because, I'll give you a little bit of an example. And like I say, they told me, well, if there's a crack in the floor, just a crack, then they mark you down as, you got a problem. Your floor needs maintenance. And after you get so many problems, then they take away your permit. See, so, and it got to, well, their walls need to be tile, or they need to be stainless steel, or, they would come up with this stuff. What does that have to do with anything? Okay, so I paint the walls, I clean them, I wipe them down, I do all this stuff. There's nothing dirty about it. But now they wanted a certain material, and it got worse and worse. And now it's to the point where, that is what I think is funny. Your freezer is not a commercial freezer. Now, you tell me what the difference is between a commercial freezer and your home freezer. What is the difference? I mean, besides $400 or $500, the commercial freezer will cost you more because the compressor is a better compressor. But they both keep everything frozen, and then they changed it to they have to be commercial freezer stainless steel. Okay, what difference does that make? If everything's frozen, it doesn't make any difference. But that's what they do. They made it more and more difficult to to start your own business. And nowadays, the young people don't even think about owning their own business. What do they think? Oh, I'm going to get an education, I'm going to get a job for some big company, and I'll have benefits. I'll have insurance, I'll have this, I'll have that. None of this has anything to do with that young'un improving his own personal life. No, they've got it all set on material things. His focus is on material things, not helping people, not benefiting the community, not benefiting nobody other than the dollars. They've changed everything into his mindset is in material things. And that is how they were able to do that. Just a little bit at a time. And I say, so now how many young people think, oh man, I want to own my own business. I want to do this. I want to do that. They don't. They don't even think about that. It's not even a thought anymore. And why? The government has taken that thought out because when you start your own business, you're in competition with somebody else. And those people that are already in business, they want the regulations to keep you out. They don't want you as competition. I've told the health inspector, I said, man, does McDonald's do all the stuff that you talk about? And they said, yes, everybody does. I said, don't you think it's something odd? A multi-billion-dollar company, and I've got to do everything the same as a multi-billion-dollar company? At one time, I wanted to start my own auto manufacturing. I thought, hey, if Toyota can do it, I can do it. That just tells you my imagination was ready to go. I'm ready to do things. As a young man, I'm ready to go. Even now, I'm still ready to do things. But like I say, now I got to look at all the regulations that come in. I can't even, and what I was going to do with my auto manufacturing, I was going to get one person to manufacture a right front fender, another person a left front fender, another person, and all they got to do is bring it to my place at a certain time, and then I'm going to start assembling my handmade automobile. And I thought, man, this is going to be a good thing. I mean, so I should be able to start my own car manufacturing company, the way I looked at it. I say, hell, if Rolls-Royce can do it, why can't I? You know, so I just need to bring everything together and be able to make it work. And this was back in, been in the 70s, I guess. And but I say, even at that time, I could see the regulations that they were putting on the auto industry, and that is, like I say, to keep people from like me from starting my own auto company. And man, look how many jobs I could create. You know, so there's a reason why they do stuff like that. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.